Hey there, good morning everybody. It's Thursday, April 19th, 2018, and it is a snowy, icy, rainy morning, so I hope you bundled up today or getting the kids off to school. Be sure to keep your winter coats handy. Well, today I want to talk to you about the topic of being hard-pressed. So many of you are sharing your stories with me, and I feel a sense that a lot of you are burdened. A lot of you feel as though life is crushing in on you, and things are you feel like you're just about to break. Well, there is a great verse that God woke me up with this morning in my own quiet time. It was very loud and clear, and I just want to share that with you guys this morning. It's found in 2 Corinthians 4:8, and it says, "We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed. Perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not abandoned. Struck down, but not destroyed." Well, you have to think about that. Does sound like a lot of our lives, and that we feel like some days we can't even make it under the crushing of circumstance, even life, the grind of life, and how we are doing, and just how do we continue to go when the pressure's on, when the stress is so high that we feel like we're about to break. Well, I just wanted to share with you what the word hard-pressed means. It means under attack or hotly pursued in a negative way. It means you're burdened with urgent business, or you're hard put, or maybe you're under a financial strain. So many of you are sharing those stories with me that that's how your life is right now. And it doesn't matter necessarily your circumstance, but what is it that crushes in on you, that pushes in and puts that strain on your life? Maybe it's emotional, maybe it's a crisis, maybe it's a great loss. And what is it that just continues to press and press? Well, of course, when God gives me one verse that talks about who we are and how we are and when we struggle, I also got to go look for the solution and the resolution that God has for us, because there is something in the Bible for every part of our life, regardless of what you think. If you think that there isn't an answer, or maybe you're finding something in your life that I'm not finding the answer to, be sure to get in the Word. Go look for God. Look for Him. He is there. He will show you what He has for you. Hi, Judy. Hey, Vicki. Hey, Scott. Hey, everybody this morning. Hey, Kelly. Thanks for joining in. This is a really great topic about being hard-pressed and burdened. I know a lot of your hearts are burdened. And so I went over to Psalm 55, where I love these verses. Verse 22 says, "Cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will never let the righteous fall." Some of the other versions say, "Give your burdens to the Lord, and He'll take care of you. He'll not permit the godly to slip and fall." Many of you feel like you're slipping and falling away. You feel as though the weight of the world is coming in and you cannot handle it anymore. Maybe it's your family, maybe it's your finances, maybe it's your job. I don't know. I know we live in a day and age where there's a lot of anger and rage, and we've talked a lot about this week. There's malice and slander, and just mean and hateful words can be crushing. And so when God gives you a word that says, I know you're being pressed, I know you feel like you're about to break, let me help you. And over here in Psalms, he says, "Give those burdens to me, cast them upon me, and I promise not to let you slip or fall." So I started digging into Psalms 55, and I just wanted to share. This is a great chapter in the Psalms. If you are in distress, I would read it from front to bottom. This also was a chapter when the towers went down in 9/11 that I heard a great teaching on. And it was when we feel like, why are our enemies gaining strength? Why is it that we feel that God is allowing bad things to happen to the righteous? So I just want to hit real briefly. Verse 2 says, "My thoughts trouble me and I'm distraught." Verse 4 is, "My heart is in anguish within me." Verse 5, "Fear and trembling have beset me. Horror has overwhelmed me." Some of you feel those exact emotions. Some of you, that is your state of being right now. And you feel like, God, I cannot take much longer. But verse 16 is really telling, and I love it because it says, "But I call to God and the Lord saves me." That's you guys too, you guys. Evening, morning, and noon, I cry out in distress, and He hears my voice. Thank God that God hears us. There are so many voices chiming in all the time, and they pretend to listen. There's people that just don't listen. They're not listening to. But God says, I listen. I hear you. He ransoms me unharmed from the battle raged against me, even though many oppose me. Some of you feel like the world is against you. Maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your kids, maybe it's your coworkers, maybe it's just life in general, maybe it's your health, you just feel like everything, there's this battle waging war against you and you're in distress. And this is what David is saying. He is really, really crying out to God here. And this is just an absolutely amazing chapter to get into. Read lots of versions. I started digging through it. It's just at every verse, just God continues to speak. It's Psalm 55. So when you feel like you are that hard pressed and you're stressed and God, you just need to hear from God and you need some relief, go here into Psalm 55. But the best part of, I love the ending of this chapter because he's talking about his enemies. He's talking about how in verse 15, let death take my enemies by surprise. Let me go down alive to the grave, for evil finds lodging among them. He knows that the enemies are closing in on him and he's in great distress. But the ending is what is so good. And I think this is what's so great about our God too, is, you know, the world may look like we are a sitting duck, especially here in America. There's talk of nuclear bombs. We have Russia and China growing and Iran against us. And we're thinking, when is this going to come against us? You know, maybe it's wherever you live, you feel like there's that war raging and you have great enemies against you. Well, remember, God says, I'm not going to let the righteous slip and fall. But what I find is greatest and brings me a lot of hope and just a stability is in verse 23 where it says, but you, O God, will bring down the wicked into the pit of corruption. Bloodthirsty and deceitful men will not live out half their days. But as for me, I trust in you. So I just want to encourage somebody today who maybe has been felt bullied. You feel hard pressed, like we talked about in 2 Corinthians 4:8. You are perplexed. You feel persecuted by people. Go into the Word. Find God's healing. He has strength for you to gain today. I needed strength today. It's been a rough week, and so I needed to find that. God will meet you. He is so, so faithful, you guys. He will meet you where you're at. Hey, Amy. Hey, Lindsay. Hey, Carrie. Everybody's joining in this morning. It's great to see everybody. I hope you're all joining in and getting God's Word on Morning Light and then on your own. But I just want to encourage you today because I've heard from you. I know there's some of you that I can just feel your heart bleeding through your text messages and your private messages. And I'm so sorry for the things that you're going through. But God has a solution. I can't fix them, and you probably can't fix them either. But God can. And when you feel like the enemy is breathing down your neck like he has on me, I just want to encourage you today that we can be hard pressed. We can be persecuted. We can be perplexed. We can be down for the count. We can be distressed. But here's what the Sunday morning paper says. We win. Get back into Revelations and find out that this enemy of this world and of the Christians is not going to win. He may think he can take some good hard swings at us, but in the end, he is not. It's kind of like a football game on Friday night where you're down for the count, fourth quarter, you know, last down, and it's going to have to be a Hail Mary to make it. Well, God is going to do a Hail Mary here at the end, and he's not even really going to have to take any effort. All that looks like it's coming against us, God's going to come back, reclaim his kids. He's going to take us home, but he's also going to settle the score. And I believe he's going to settle the score for some of your enemies today too, whoever or whatever that may be. Maybe it's not a person. This isn't something to go and get in a fight with somebody. We talked about anger and fight and rage and malice and slander this week. I don't want you to go doing that and having that kind of attitude, but just having the security and the stance that God is going to settle the score. He is going to bring justice, and he will hear you. He hears you morning, noon, and night. Call out to him, cry out to him. I've done that. He will answer you. So be in the Word, be with him, be in front of him, make him your first. Remember, we've talked this week about order. God has to have an order. He wants your life in order. When he's first, everything else will fall into place. I promise that. So, hey, Stephanie. Hey, Christy. I'm so glad. Lindsay. Hey, everybody. Sammy, how are you from Africa? Hey, it's great to see you guys. I hope you all have a great Thursday. Really chilly, so stay warm. Just a few more days, and I hope spring's coming. Sunny days tomorrow and this weekend. So I love you guys. Be strong in the Lord. Give somebody a big hug today. I'm sure somebody needs it. Just tell them how great they are. I'll talk to you bright and early tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.